Have you ever felt like you're playing a game, but you can't seem to win? Like it's just getting harder and harder to get ahead? Well, what if I told you that a huge reason for that feeling, the reason everything from your housing to your software feels like a subscription you can't cancel, all started over a single weekend back in 1971. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the moment one decision completely changed the rules of money.
I mean, our source material just lays it out there, plain and simple. It's this powerful idea that we're moving from a world of ownership to a world of, well, subscriptions. It's that treadmill feeling, right? You're working harder than ever, but you're not actually building anything. You're just paying for access.
And this is the central question for our whole explainer. You know, for generations, the path seemed pretty clear. Work hard, save your money, you'll get ahead. But if that path feels all twisted and overgrown now, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's because somebody came along and redrew the entire map. So let's start right there, with that shared feeling. The story we were all told about what it means to build a middle-class life, you know, the one our parents and grandparents might have lived, it feels less like a guarantee and more like a ghost story.
Yeah, that whole golden age narrative, it was a pretty good deal while it lasted. But some of our sources argue it wasn't a permanent state of being. It was more like a temporary sweet spot where the system just worked for a lot of people. But then, in 1971, something fundamental snapped. To really get what broke, we first have to understand the old rules of the game. See, before 1971, the entire global economy was running on a system that feels almost ancient to us now. You could say the whole world was on a very tight, very predictable golden leash. Okay, so after the absolute chaos of World War II, the world's leaders were desperate for some stability. And this is what they came up with. They anchored the entire global economy to the US dollar. And the dollar itself? It was anchored to something real, something you could touch, physical gold, at a fixed price of $35 an ounce.
So the key thing here, the whole system, was built on a chain of trust. Every other major currency was pegged to the US dollar, and that dollar had a direct claim on actual physical gold sitting in US vaults. It made things predictable, even if it was a little rigid.
But that rigid order was about to get completely shattered. See, the pressure on the United States had been building for years, and by the summer of '71, the whole thing was at a breaking point. It all led to a surprise announcement that would, literally, change everything overnight.
Just look at how fast this all went down. A bad trade report in June, a worrying government report in early August, and then a massive, week-long run on the dollar. Other countries were starting to call America's bluff, trading in their dollars for gold and draining the US reserves. The situation was a pressure cooker, and Nixon's team knew they had to do something, and do it fast. So on that Sunday night, President Nixon gets on TV and announces this three-part plan. First, the big one, he closes the gold window. That's it. The dollar is no longer on that gold leash. Second, he slaps a 10% tax on imports to try and make American stuff more competitive. And third, he freezes wages and prices to fight inflation back home. In one speech, poof, the old rules were just gone.
So why? Why did this all happen? Well, academics basically have two main theories. The official story, which you'll find in the work of Douglas Irwin, is that it was basically a power move, a negotiating tactic, to force other countries to change their currency values. But there's another theory, argued by folks like Michael Bordeaux, that points to the elephant in the room, America's own rising inflation. In that version of the story, the US was spending too much, and closing the gold window was a way to deal with the consequences without admitting fault.
But honestly, whatever the reason, the consequences were earth-shattering. Cutting the dollar loose from gold didn't just change how countries traded with each other. It fundamentally changed the relationship between work and wealth for regular people. This is what's known as the Great Decoupling, and it might just be the single most important economic chart of the last 50 years.
And here it is, this chart, this is the receipt. Before 1971, the deal was pretty straightforward. As workers got more productive, their pay went up right alongside it. You see how those lines move together? But after the dollar was untethered, governments could create money a lot more freely. This led to a system where the rewards from all that increased productivity went more to the owners of capital, not the workers. And you can see it right there, clear as day. Around 1971, productivity keeps soaring, but wages for most workers just flatline. The two lines completely break apart. And this quote just nails the impact. The engine of the economy kept getting better and more efficient. We didn't stop innovating or working hard. But the rewards from all that hard work stopped flowing to the people who were actually doing it. That fundamental link between how hard you work and what you earn was basically severed. Which brings us full circle.
right back to today. That great decoupling is what created the economic world we all navigate now. It helps explain why real ownership feels so much harder to achieve, and why our lives feel more and more like a bundle of monthly payments.
I mean, the shift is just everywhere you look. The old economy was about building assets. You bought a house, you owned your car, you even owned your music on a record or CD. This new model, which some of our sources call subscription serfdom, is all about renting access. You pay every single month for everything, but the moment you stop paying, you're left with absolutely nothing to show for it. And that's the real kicker. It completely changes the path to financial security. When your wages aren't really growing, and everything you need is a monthly fee, it becomes incredibly difficult to save and build the equity that used to define a stable, middle-class life. You're not a player building wealth anymore. You're just a subscriber paying a fee to stay in the game.
So that one decision, back in 1971, rewrote the rules of money, and we are all living in the world that it created. The data is pretty clear. That promise that hard work automatically leads to ownership got fundamentally broken. Which leaves all of us with a really big question. If the old game is unwinnable, what does a new one even look like? And this time, who gets to write the rules?